And now it's time to bring in our special guest. Welcome TechDweeb to the show. Hey, hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're super stoked to have you, TechDweeb. Let's start with an audience question. What is your favorite retro game? Ah, that's a big question. Which is why there is no possible way to pick a single favorite. Okay, could we maybe speed this up? What do you mean? Well, I asked you what your favorite retro game was, and you said it was a big question, and then you sat there in silence for 20 minutes, and then you said there was no possible way to pick your favorite. Ah, I see what you mean. Well, here's the thing. Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. I've been a gamer my whole dang life. I vividly remember my mom telling her friend that it was a phase that I'd grow out of. But look at me now, Mom. Mom! I'm more of a gamer than ever. You bought me my first Game Boy, so you're to blame if you think about it. I'm here to tell you about my favorite games ever. My favorite game from each system, from the classic retro period. At least the systems that I have experience with. All the most common retro systems, I think. I'm going by my definition of a retro game, by the way. We talked about this in a Retro Roundtable episode. Everyone's got a different definition, but my definition is 25 years. That's it, just a straight up 25-year timer. When a game reaches its 25th year anniversary, it's instantly a retro game, and you're old if you play it. I've had so many games that I've loved over the years. At any given point, if you asked me my favorite game, the answer would have been different. Not just because I played new games that replaced the old ones, but my tastes change. Not just over the years, but by the day. Chances are, if you asked me yesterday what my favorite Game Boy game is, it would be a different answer from today. That's because I'm a human. I'm a slave to my emotions that are fleeting and fickle. But these are my answers today. I have one game for each system, a whole video full of amazing retro games to show you, and all you have to do is click the subscribe button to thank me. You're welcome. Starting off with the Atari 2600, which I did have, however, I didn't have this game. I discovered this later when I got into emulation. It's Enduro, a tough, twitchy driving game, sort of like a Outrun kind of thing, but in a stylish, synthwave, abstract world. I know now that the vehicles are supposed to be like racing cars, but for the longest time, I thought they were bugs. I mean, look at the sprite. They do kind of look like bugs, right? One super cool thing about the game is how the land changes as you journey through the world. The sun goes down, and then there's fog and snow. It adds flavor, and it's technically impressive. This is one of the few Atari 2600 games that is actually fun. And it's also hard as heck. I suck at this one, but I love it. I only recently got into the library of Commodore 64 games. I made a Commodore 64 emulation video, and I recently got the C64 Ultimate. I mean, I'm kind of learning my way through what the C64 was and how it worked, and I've been having so much fun going through the library of games. I've discovered lots, however, Wizard of War is a game that I love and keep going back to. It's such a classic. These are the kind of games that I really love on these ancient old systems. Arcade-style games with endless replay value. The NES is a big part of my life as a gamer. I went through a ton of games I owned or borrowed or rented. I played all the bangers back then, but the game that I keep coming back to is a game that I didn't even like when I was a kid. This game was too boring and complicated for young dweeb. But adult dweeb is nuts about this game. It's one of my happy place games. I love being in this cute world and fighting slimes. It's simple as heck, but it's because it's so simple that it's so replayable. I played through this probably like 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 times at this point, and I still keep coming back. For Game Boy, this is an easy pick, Burger Time Deluxe. This is one of my favorite retro games ever, and it's easily my favorite on the Game Boy. I play this on every doodad. It's a super simple game. There's a series of platforms, and you need to walk over the burger toppings to drop them down and make the burgers while avoiding the evil burger toppings. But the mechanics are so tight, and it's the kind of game that you get better and better at as you play. And it feels good when you get further than you did last time. I love it so much that I even had my Game Boy developer buddy make me a TechDweeb version. Burger Time Dweeb-Lux. That's like the definitive version. Probably. For the Sega Master System, there's really only one answer for me. Ultima 4 Quest of the Avatar. We played that for the Dusty Game Society, and I chose the Sega Master System version, and I am so glad I did. It's an amazing port of an amazing game. It's like a big, sprawling open world RPG, and considering this came out in 1985, it is baffling how much you can do in this game. You visit towns and talk to people and learn about the lore and the world. You can get a boat and sail around. You can get a horse, tons of huge sprawling dungeons to explore. And the whole goal of the game is to become a better person. So maybe, just maybe, playing this will make you a little bit less of a jerk. For PC games, I'm going to do a few different eras of PC gaming, and the first on the list is DOS. I've made a ton of videos about DOS games, but my favorite DOS game when I was a kid, and a game I still love today, is Duke Nukem 3D. This game was so ahead of its time. The graphics and the gameplay set a new standard for first-person shooters, and to this day, it is still as fun as heck. The single player is amazing. It's a huge game. There are 3 different campaigns. The level design and environmental storytelling have definitely held up, and the multiplayer was so dang good. Also, there are some parts of the game that young TechDweeb really loved, and adult TechDweeb still loves those parts. I never had a Game Boy Color, but I love exploring the Game Boy Color library as a grown-up with way too many retro doodads. And I think the game that I have the most fun with is Cannon Fodder. This game is like a mix of a real-time strategy game and an arcade shooter. You have a little squad of adorable soldiers, and you tell them where to go, and you use the cursor to shoot as you move. It's a big, long game. There's tons of levels, and the Game Boy Color version, it has the whole game in it. This game came out on lots of systems, but the Game Boy Color version is just as solid as any of them. And it has some quality of life features that actually rival the bigger ports on the big boy consoles. My Super Nintendo pick is sort of a cheat. Super Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World, the multi-cart that contains all the best Mario games. I get them all with this one pick. I mean, what can I say about Mario that hasn't been said a million times already? For example, actually, it's pronounced Mario, actually. Yeah, stop saying that. You sound like a dweeb. Mario games are so big, so fun, so good, and this is all of them. Mario 1, 2, 3, remastered with 16-bit graphics, and Mario World. If anyone tries to tell you that this isn't the ultimate SNES game collection, I suggest you tell them to shut up and run home crying. That's what I do. Arcade games spanned decades. It's not just one system, but if I had to pick just one game, I'm gonna go with my gut, and my gut is telling me that it wants Swedish berries, and it's also telling me that my answer is Dungeons & Dragons Shadow over Mystara. This is a beat-em-up game, as you can see, but they somehow managed to squeeze in RPG mechanics. You level up in this game, you gain experience and gear. The story is branching, and you make choices that affect the outcome. It's like the joy of arcade beat-em-ups gameplay with a sprinkling of RPG flavor to keep things from feeling too samey. I'm not nuts about the TurboGrafx 16 library. There's not a lot of games that I actually like there, but that system does have one game that is among my all-time favorite retro games, Devil's Crush. It's pinball, and I'm a big fan of pinball games. The mechanics are super tight, the pixel art is gorgeous, and it's super unique. The pinball table changes as you play, so there's actually progression in it. There are enemies that spawn for you to destroy, secrets to uncover, and even boss fights. It's tough too, like most pinball games, so no matter how many times I play this, I can never last long. Also, I suck, but I still keep coming back, because I hate myself. It was about here on the retro game timeline that we got Windows 3.1 on our PCs, which is kind of the start of a new era of PC gaming. And my PC game pick for this time period is The Incredible Machine. This game is basically a cause and effect simulator, like a Rube Goldberg machine kind of thing. You use various everyday objects to create chain reactions to solve puzzles, or you can just jump into the sandbox mode and create your own wacky inventions to amaze and delight your friends. I didn't have any friends, so I can't confirm that it works, but my mom seemed super impressed at some of the things I showed her. For the Genesis, there are so many games I love. It is a system full of bangers, but my favorite game that I keep going back to is Blades of Vengeance. You'll see me playing this all the time in my videos. It's got everything I love in a side-scrolling action game. Muscly warriors and scantily clad barbarian babes, amazing pixel art and animation, great music and sound effects, and a world full of fire monsters and skeletons for me to have fun smashing with the tight combat and responsive controls. I love these kind of games. These wizards and warriors, swords and sorcery kind of games. It feels like the kind of posters that I had on my walls when I was a kid, come to life. It's time to enter the world of 3D games, and the system that I had during this period was the PS1, and I loved so many different games on the PS1, but the one game that really stands out to me as being extra special is Final Fantasy IX. This was the first JRPG that I had ever really played. This game made me fall in love with the genre. It's just an absolutely magical journey that I will never forget. The story follows this scrappy band of weirdos who accidentally kick off a huge adventure involving kidnapped princesses, airships, evil empires. I never finished this back in the day. I think I got like halfway through and I always regretted that. It's on my bucket list. Sometime the Dusty Game Society is going to tackle this one. I can't wait. Now this is pod racing. There was a cheap movie theater walking distance from my house back when I was in high school. They had off-season movies for $2. And one summer I saw Phantom Menace there probably 20 times. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer was a video game version of the pod racing from the movie. The Dreamcast version of this game is better, but the Nintendo 64 version is still my favorite on the system. I played this back then and I still love this version. It captured the entire pod racing experience perfectly. The mechanics are tight, it feels the way pod racing should, the tracks are unique and interesting, and it's just fun. Dumb, mindless fun. Just like the movie. My Sega Saturn pick is Panzer Dragoon 2. This is a weird alien fantasy world where you're a dude riding a dragon and you shoot stuff. Mostly these robot bug things. It's an on-rail shooter. You go through these linear levels and you can look around and shoot in any direction, but it's like a roller coaster. You're just along for the ride. All you have to do is survive. Which is hard. After the first level, you'll be sweating buckets as you spin your crosshair around all over the place trying to find what's shooting you. And spoiler alert, everything is shooting you. From every direction. All the time. This game wants you dead. The GBA is my favorite retro system to emulate, and my favorite game on it, today at least, is Advance Wars 2. This game taught me to love turn-based tactical strategy games. There's this simple but satisfying rock, paper, scissors hierarchy to how the combat works. Some stuff is better against stuff, but weaker against other stuff. It's simple at a first glance, but there is a ton of complexity here once you get playing. The pixel art is amazing, the maps are unique, the characters have character, the single player campaign is non-stop fun, and there's an entire make your own skirmish mode for endless replayability. I love moving these little army guys around on the map, and it breaks my heart when they get killed. I really gotta stop getting emotionally attached to sprites. For the Gamecube, I instantly knew which game I was gonna pick. I love The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. This is back when open-world third-person action games were a new concept. Most just followed the GTA 3 formula. And then Hulk came along, took the formula, and suplexed it through a building. Playing as Hulk in this big open-world city is so ridiculously fun. Yet being able to run up buildings, pick up cars and tanks, and chuck them around, I had never been able to do stuff like this before this game, and it is just as fun to play now. If you've ever wanted to take a car and smash your fists into it and then rip it in half, and then those car halves are now your boxing gloves, then this is the game for that. On the Dreamcast, I'm going to go with Rayman 2: The Great Escape. This game is a quirky, unique 3D action platformer. The world is lush and vibrant with lots of environmental puzzles to change things up. Each location is unique in the visuals and the challenge. There's some fun, goofy humor and cutscenes, cute characters, and of course we have Rayman as our protagonist, channeling so much of that 90s mascot coolness that the enemies didn't stand a chance. I'm pretty sure that he's actually hurling balls of coolness at them. That's why he has infinite projectiles. He makes coolness. The original Nintendo DS is my all-time most played handheld console. It has like an endless library of bangers, but my pick for my favorite game is probably the game that I played the most on it, which is Final Fantasy Tactics Advance A2 Grimoire of the Rift. This game is a massive game of tactical battles and RPG goodness. A great story, lovely art and sound, and a huge amount of post-game content. I love the GBA Final Fantasy Tactics, but the DS version is just bigger and better. And it also has an embarrassingly long name to say out loud when you tell people what you're playing. Hey TechDweeb, what are you playing? oh, I'm just playing Final Fantasy Tactics Advance A2 Grimoire of Nerd. My pick for the Xbox is a bit of a hidden gem, I think. I rarely hear anyone talking about this game, which is surprising because it's so weird and so unique and fun. I kind of wish everyone knew about it. It's called Oddworld: Stranger's Wrath. This is a first-person shooter, but it's more of a stealth puzzle game than an action game. In this one, you're this bounty hunter animal guy, and you have this crossbow that hurls little animals, little critters that do different things. Lots of the game revolves around trying to capture enemies, so you can set traps and lure them in, set up chain reactions. There really isn't anything else like it. And this is also available on PC. You can grab it on Steam, and it's super cheap, so there's no excuse not to play it. My PS2 pick is Giant's Citizen Kabuto. It's kind of hard to describe though. There are 3 factions in the game. You got these space marine guys with jetpacks. You have these like mermaid elves that are kind of magical. And you have the freaking massive Kabuto. He's like the King Kong of this world. Believe it or not, this is also like an asymmetrical real-time strategy game. You'll be building your base and upgrading your abilities and commanding NPCs where to go, but you do it all as your character in third-person action game style. This single player is amazing, and the multiplayer, if you can find a way to play it, is even more amazinger. But the dumb humor is the cherry on top. This one is great for goofballs like me. For PSP, there are so many games that I love, but the one game that I keep firing up on basically every device is Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. This is nothing more than a remastered version of Mega Man X, but I loved Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo, and this is such a good version. It's a massive game with a ton of variety in the levels, and the X version of Mega Man has more mobility and some nice upgrades along the way that make him a more fun and satisfying Mega Man to play. Also, as a side bonus, this is one of the easiest PSP games to run, so you can play it on even your potato-grade low-spec doodads. And lastly, but not leastly, my pick for the Windows 95 era of PC gaming is none other than Half-Life. This game blew my frickin' mind back when it came out. It's a massive, sprawling adventure with great graphics, great action, great set pieces, the perfect blend of combat and puzzles and exploration and environmental storytelling. Every single aspect of the game has stood the test of time. This game is still a banger today, and that there's a reason that people still have nothing but good stuff to say about Half-Life. I mean, Half-Life 2 kind of steals the spotlight so often when we talk about PC gaming, but Half-Life 1 is just as important. It's an incredible game that deserves to go down in history, and it will, because I put it in this video. And that's it. That's my favorite game on each of the best retro systems. What you just witnessed was a trip back in time, through the eons, from the humble origins of what I liked as a little snot-nosed punk to what I liked as a pimple-faced, snot-nosed teenager. All my favorite games that I still love today as a snot-nosed 40-something-year-old adult. There are so many more games that I wanted to give shoutouts to, but I can't squeeze them all into one video. Come on. Maybe I can do separate best of videos for each system or something. Let me know which system you would want me to make dedicated videos about someday. Also, let's hear from you. Which of my games would also make your list? Or what bangers shaped your life? For the crazy people amongst you, let's see your entire list of favorite games for each system in the comments below. I promise that I will only be mildly jealous that your list is better than mine. But that's gonna do it from me for today. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.